Exposed. Mark Carney's shocking economic plan that could bankrupt Canada. What you must know. Mark Carney's unexpected victory in the snap federal election on April 28, 2025, and his subsequent rise to Prime Minister has sparked intense debate and deep concern across Canada. Taking over the leadership from Justin Trudeau and steering the Liberal Party into a new chapter, Carney arrived amid mounting economic uncertainty and a public eager for solutions to growing fiscal challenges. His campaign promised firm action to balance the federal budget and revive the economy, but as the details of his economic agenda come to light, many Canadians are increasingly worried that his vision may push the country into a deeper financial crisis rather than recovery. At the heart of Carney's plan is an aggressive effort to slash government spending, with the federal operating budget targeted for cuts nearing 24%. This is an unprecedented level of austerity in recent Canadian history, signaling a sharp departure from previous government spending patterns. The plan aims to trim approximately $13 billion, mostly from personal expenditures within various government departments, excluding defense, which Carney vows to protect and even strengthen. This means that everyday public services, those that Canadians rely on for passports, income taxes, social programs, and more, are on the brink of serious downsizing. Carney's Liberals ran on promises that public service employment would be capped, not cut, and touted new efficiencies from technology like artificial intelligence and a reduction in costly external consultants. However, economists and experts warn that achieving such massive savings without significant layoffs and service reductions is unrealistic. The grim reality suggests that many federal workers could lose their jobs, and government services will almost certainly suffer. This raises a troubling dilemma for Canadians. Will they receive fewer services despite the government's claims of maintaining quality and efficiency? This looming crisis calls to mind the deep austerity measures introduced in the mid-1990s under Finance Minister Paul Martin, a period still remembered for its painful cuts and hardships. Now, nearly 3 decades later, Carney's proposed cuts approach or even surpass the severity of that era. Yet, unlike then, the demand for government services has only increased and public expectations for access and quality are higher. Reducing staff at this point threatens to lengthen wait times and frustrate citizens who already struggle to get timely support. Warnings from within government offices and budget watchdogs make clear that simply slowing the growth of the federal workforce won't meet Carney's ambitious targets. Instead, a real shrinkage in public service employment is necessary. Some officials have floated ideas like delaying the rollout of programs or allowing the government to run temporary deficits to ease pressure. Still, these alternatives risk undermining Carney's core campaign promises of fiscal responsibility, leaving Canada vulnerable to prolonged economic uncertainty. Carney's background as a former governor of the Bank of England and his extensive experience in international finance shape his economic philosophy. His approach emphasizes modernization, global competitiveness, and integration with international markets. While these goals sound progressive, critics worry that this orientation makes Canada susceptible to global economic shocks, especially if internal economic fundamentals weaken. The difficulties some European countries face, marked by social unrest linked to austerity and rapid demographic change, stand as cautionary examples of what might lie ahead for Canada if similar policies are pursued without care. Immigration is a particularly sensitive and complex element in this debate. Canada's immigration system is renowned worldwide for its openness and effectiveness, but rapid demographic shifts coupled with public service cuts have heightened anxiety for many. There is a fear among some citizens that native-born Canadians could be pushed out of government jobs or face diminished access to public services as new immigrants fill these roles under different conditions. This concern adds a complicated social dimension to the economic challenges and underscores the need for thoughtful policies that promote inclusion while protecting workers. Trade policy and the value of the Canadian dollar further complicate Carney's economic outlook. Some of the government's recent trade initiatives have encountered obstacles, and the currency has shown signs of weakening. These trends add pressure to an already fragile economic landscape. At the same time, rising federal deficits raise questions about the long-term sustainability of public finances and whether Canada can maintain its social programs without risking deeper economic troubles. Yet it's important to remember that Carney's supporters view these reforms as necessary corrections to years of unchecked spending and debt accumulation. They argue that without significant cuts and structural changes, Canada's fiscal situation would continue to worsen, jeopardizing future prosperity. They also point to technological advances as a key part of the solution. Tools like AI and automation have the potential to streamline government operations, increase efficiency, and reduce costs without the same level of job loss some fear. Moreover, Carney's commitment to strengthening defense spending demonstrates an effort to balance priorities between fiscal discipline and national security. The pressing question for Canadians now is whether Carney's government can successfully navigate this difficult path without damaging the very public services and social fabric Canadians depend on. This will require not just tough decisions, but clear communication, transparency, and a willingness to listen and respond to public concerns. The government must find a way to honor fiscal promises while ensuring that cuts do not undercut essential services or deepen social divides. As these economic policies begin to take shape, Canadians should be alert to the early signs of strain: longer wait times at government offices, reduced availability of programs, and cuts to frontline services. Paying attention to these indicators will help citizens understand the real impact of austerity and provide grounds for public dialogue and pressure for necessary adjustments. Open conversations and civic engagement will be critical as the government moves forward. This moment is a pivotal one for Canada's future. Canadians have a responsibility to stay informed, participate in political discourse, and hold leaders accountable for their promises and policies. The country's economic health and social stability depend on how well these challenges are managed and how inclusive the solutions are. Mark Carney's economic plan carries both risk and hope. It has the potential to restore fiscal balance and foster innovation, but if mishandled, it could push Canada into a cycle of economic hardship and diminished public trust. The stakes have never been higher, and the path forward demands vigilance, engagement, and resilience from every Canadian. In the end, the story of Canada's economic future is still unfolding. How Carney's government acts and how Canadians respond will shape the nation for years. This moment demands honesty, tough conversations, and collective resolve. Stay informed and engaged. Canada's future depends on it.